Welcome to Sharp or Square, presented by Hard Rock Bet. We are part of the Volume Podcast Network. This is the show that makes the squares sharper and makes the wise guys pay attention. I am Chad Newman. I am joined, as always, by my BFF, my companion, my compadre, my co-host, professional bettor Simon Hunter. Hello, Simon.
Chad, what we thought was going to be a terrible Christmas day for football actually turned out to be pretty dang good. So I'll give props to the NFL. Doesn't matter what they put out there product-wise. They always end up getting good games. And I saw Evan Abrams had a crazy tweet. Holiday games, Thanksgiving dogs, 3-0. Black Friday, obviously the Bears, your Bears, dominated the Eagles, covered as a dog. And then we went 3-0 again on Christmas. So underdogs in the holidays, 7-0, pretty crazy. And yeah, for our show, you know, I pushed on Dallas, but we hit on Minnesota, hit on the Chiefs, lost on the moneyline parlay. Obviously, the Lions lost outright.
Yeah.
And the Dallas Cowboys now 15-1, set the record most overs ever for a first half in an NFL season. So thank you, Dallas Cowboys. Once again, Dak Prescott in a meaningless game of December. My God, is he good?
Simon, as one of my favorite Englishmen, you are. Let me be one of the first to wish you a happy Boxing Day.
Chad, I finally got the real info on Boxing Day from my mother. I asked my mom what Boxing Day was, and it blew my mind. It's a Victorian-era holiday. It goes back to 1833 Boxing Day. And apparently, she said, it was basically the rich people would give their leftover gifts to their servants, and they would give them the day off after Christmas because obviously they have to work on Christmas. So it wasn't as happy and jolly as I thought it was going to be. But it's still a cool holiday because it's a tradition of people getting off work, and it's a holiday I wish America had. I can't, like, even today I saw people out working today. It's like, my God, we can't figure out a holiday for Boxing Day, and we can't figure out the holiday after the Super Bowl. I might need to run for president just on those two bases, Chad. Give us the day off of Christmas and the day off after the Super Bowl.
Well, look, you and I are working today. Matt Mitchell is working today.
Is that what this is?
Yeah, exactly. We're working. We're struggling through it. My Christmas was blown up because I tested positive for COVID. I know Matt Mitchell's Christmas was a blast, even though he was in the ER, or his wife was in the ER with one of his kids for most of the Christmas Eve night. But here we are. We're getting through it. We are the Kansas City Chiefs of the podcast world. We're going to get through it. We're going to play our best. We're going to be professionals. We're going to cover. We're going to cover it all.
Oh, I didn't even mention Chiefs. They covered, like Chad just said. Now that stat, since 1970s, the Chiefs as a double-digit dog at home, 14-0 against the spread. Crazy.
Can't beat it. Can't beat it. All right, let's get into this thing, because every week we get some feedback from the professional bettors who have been listening to the show. And Simon, they got a lot of feedback for you. It's time for Sharp Calls.
I have to answer this phone.
Yeah, let's start off with the Saturday games. They loved Chad's bet on the Texans, which I agreed with, right? I think we were both on the same page with that one. We liked that matchup a lot. And, you know, especially a game we could break down more, but I feel like every pro I talk to probably had the same mentality we do. It's just, yes, the Chargers have been winning. This is going to be the best D-line they faced since the Eagles. I remember how much the Eagles were just in their face. I mean, Houston's D-line is probably better than the Eagles. So that was a really fun discussion game. We've seen that number come down now from peaked at 2.5, I think, and most books now down to 1.5 on this Chargers. So, yeah, professionalized definitely hit that one. Now, I don't know, not much to say about the Green Bay Ravens, unfortunately. Like we were spot on with our early read on that one. We talked about grabbing the 2.5. The pros did grab that, but I would say in the last 24 hours, I haven't really talked to many pros backing Green Bay now at -4.5 without the unknown of who the quarterback's going to be. So
we're not even going to talk about this game.
No. Well, in our other contests, it's probably going to be a play for us at 2.5 just because that's such a good number now, especially if Lamar is going to miss that game for the Ravens. Let's get to the Sunday games. Really, really interesting splits between the Eagles, which I think the pros absolutely love, and the Joe Public and us on that Bills side. Might have got a little caught there. I really didn't think the Eagles would be playing starters, but apparently they're all in. And maybe we underestimated there might be an injury to Josh Allen. So that's an interesting game. We're definitely going to have to break down some more. Pros love the Colts. A game I think you were on. I was definitely on the other side of it. I'm kind of indifferent about it. I just think the Jags are just so much a better team. So that was a really interesting one. Tennessee, not that shocking. I told you that felt like a really sharp play by you. Pros love it. Every pro I've talked to is on that side. It's going to be the definition of pros versus Joes. Like the pros are lining up on that side. The public is hammering that Saints side. Going to be a really interesting matchup. Cleveland Browns is actually not as just pro as I thought it was going to be. The public is coming on Cleveland as well, but that was a pro game. I believe it opened 4.5. DK suspension came out, probably dropped it to 4, 3.5, like we did our show. You get out the 3.5. Now you see the professional money coming in very heavy, bumping this down to 3 at most books. Even some 2.5s popped up. Saw some buyback from the pros, and this went back to 3. So that's another really interesting game. And a game I gave out, I knew the pros would be on it. I love the Seattle Seahawks. That's going to be another draw the line in the sand, pros versus Joes. Now, I did talk to some really sharp groups that did take the Panthers 7.5, but they're indifferent, right? Once it gets to 7, they really just bought the number in the hook. Just a really interesting game, that one, a lot of back and forth. So, yeah, the cap it out, I'm on the other side of it. I'm going against my professional brothers. I really like the Rams. They love the Falcons. They love the number on the Falcons. They love the match with the Falcons. And I don't know if you have an opinion on that one, but I thought it was interesting. I'm even more dug in. I bet even more money on the Rams, which went to 7.5. So that's a really fun game to break down.
All right, well, let's get into it. I think we have some differences of opinions, and then we're on the same side of a bunch of things. The Texans at the Chargers. I'm so bummed we can't put this into our Sharp or Square contest with all of our listeners because we both love the Texans here. I bet the Texans at 2.5. I bet him on the money line. D'Amico Ryan, 16% ROI as an outright underdog as a head coach. But look, this is all about betting against the Chargers offensive line. I just will not be fooled by them beating up on the Cowboys and looking great against a team that did what it did against Josh Johnson in the second half on Christmas. I won't be fooled by them beating up on the Eagles and getting that win when Jalen Hurts had so many turnovers in that game. I'm just not buying it. I know Justin Herbert is great. That I'll buy. This offensive line is in trouble, and this offensive line is going against a defense that I think is actually better than the Broncos. I want to make a point about that when we talk about the Jags. So, yeah, like I'm just going to keep betting the Texans.
Yeah, it's interesting where this game ends up because, like you said, it's as great as the Chargers have been. A lot of it has just been kind of, that Eagles game, they probably should have lost it, right? Things went their way. And we're giving props to Herbert. He had a horrible game, but he outlasted Hurts in that game where, Hurts had crucial turnovers at the very end of the game, driving to win the game. And, Herbert didn't. As bad as he played in that game, he played well enough, obviously, to win it. Same with the Chiefs game. He didn't play amazing. They only scored 1 touchdown, but they outlasted him, right? They won 16-3. That was the exact type of game that Herbert always loses to Mahomes. So I do want to give Herbert props. I know people were saying, he should be in the MVP discussion. That's too far going the one way, but I do think he deserves to get the respect of, this is a guy that, like you said, he's lost both his tackles, has a bad hand, still producing week to week. So I get why the general public is backing him here, right? Why they trust him more in the sense that, in the playoffs, that matchup the last time they played, you do kind of have to burn those tapes and throw it away, right? That was one of the worst games Herbert could possibly have. But the defensive scheme that I think is going to give Herbert the same type of problems has not changed. And it's even more so, he doesn't have his starting left tackle and right tackle from that game against one of the best D-lines in football. So I am right there with you, Chad. It's the toughest part about our contest, right? There are 5 games this week we cannot play in our contest because there's 2 on Saturday and the 3 obviously from Christmas. That's hard. That means we have 11 games left to pick from our contest, 3 of which I don't want to bet. So now we have 8 games. Games that you guys have the 8. So say all the time, our contest, I love it, but it is really tough and tons of respect to the people that do play it. I think we had, 10 or 3 different people start 10-0 to start the year for this contest. Just really impressive because we say the lines are always moving and it's a really tough contest. So I'm like you, wish we could get this one. I love the Texans here, but Maybe it's for the best. I think it's 1.5. It would be 1.5 in our contest. That's where most lines are going. So
I don't think I'd care. Like I'm betting more on the money line for this game than I am on the side.
that's fair. I you know me. I'm so into the number 2. How it's such a key number. I feel much safer taking the 2.5.
Seattle at Carolina. You loved this game. You have it, as Simon says, for Seattle. I was surprised in Sharp Calls to hear that other professionals were lining up on Seattle because, like, the Panthers are our beloved, right? We have been betting on the Panthers and Bryce Young for 2 years now. We just had a huge win with the Panthers against the Buccaneers as home dogs last week. You make a very good point. Seattle's been great on the road. The Panthers have been flip-flopping, good, bad, good, bad, good, bad, good, bad. Doesn't matter if they're at home or on the road. So I need to hear more. I just need to know more about 48 hours since we discussed it, 72 hours since we discussed it. Why is everybody loving the Seattle team?
Well, it's just there's different classes. Like the Panthers, as much love and props we're giving to them, Seattle's in a totally different stratosphere when we talk about talent level. And I get it. Like, can the Panthers keep up offensively? Right. We've seen Bryce Young have these incredible performances where he can keep his team in any game. Yeah, that can easily happen. That's why the public is coming in on this team, right? They kind of the same view, I think, that you're kind of can hear a little bit of. Like, is Seattle really 7.5 points better than Carolina? Which I guess in a vacuum, they're probably not. But I think most people have models. If you keep simulating this game, Seattle absolutely dominates this matchup, 55, 57% of the time, which, again, that's an edge to me. That's something I'm looking for. And, just looking at this game, that Carolina game, we talked about it. The Bucs, they were in total control of that game, and Baker just had a total meltdown that second half where Bryce Young stepped up, had big-time throws. Heading into that, if the Panthers had lost, I honestly would have this game at 10. So I moved it, a point and a half because they did win that game. It feels like the books and the public have moved it 3.5 points because of that. And it just feels like a total reaction where we've seen this Panthers team, right? When they're, at home against the Rams, that game they won. That game, if you go back and watch it, that was probably one of Stafford's worst games, and he still put up 28 points. So we've seen teams can move the ball against this Panthers team. It's all about Bryce Young keeping up with them. This is different. This Seattle's defense is just so legit. And defensively, their defensive front, I think you could argue they have 2 of the best 5D tackles in all of football this season, especially against the run. So it's going to be a one-dimensional game. It's all going to be on Bryce Young to beat them passing. And I already gave you all those stats about, Sam Darnold. When he's a big favorite, the books are telling you something, right? It's a unique thing for him. He's been a favorite of 7 points or more 12 times in his career. He's 9-3 against the spread, 12-0 straight up in those games. So Sam Darnold, we've seen it these last 2 years. This is the only time he's been these big of favorites these last 2 years. He's lived up to those numbers, and he tends to perform very well against bad defenses. So this we saw yesterday with the Lions team. When teams are playing for an automatic bid or just to keep their playoff lives alive, sometimes they collapse underneath the pressure.
Yeah,
the
totally.
Lions. This is the exact same thing for the Panthers. The Panthers need to win this game, and they don't need to care about the Bucs next week. How many times have we seen these teams look ahead and have a total letdown in this spot? So it is painful. I don't want to do this to the Panthers, but it makes me happy knowing no matter what, if it's 3, if it's 2, we'll be on the Panthers next week anyway. So I'm getting off on this week, Chad. I love Seattle in this spot, but it's something I've done with Panthers this season. They've just been up and down week to week, and this just feels like a really bad spot for them with the look ahead for the Bucs next week.
Jacksonville at Indy. That's the game that I want to talk about. You and I are against each other on this game. Jacksonville is a 6.5 point favorite. Number one, I just feel like this is the ultimate buy low, sell high, right? We saw what the Colts did on Monday Night Football against the Niners. Couldn't cover anyone, lost by 3 touchdowns. We saw what the Jags did against the Broncos, winning, going away on the road against a team that very likely is competing for the number 1 seed here. I have a theory. I don't think the Broncos defense is actually, or the Broncos offense is actually as good as they're being given credit for. And I think the Bo Nix miracle comebacks have sort of elevated them because, look, They didn't do that great against Jacksonville. Then they turned around and didn't do that great against the Chiefs that had a crap load of backups playing in the game. So I think by that transitive property, the Jacksonville Jaguars are being a little bit overrated here. And I will say that home dogs have more than a field goal off a blowout, 61% against the spread. That one, no fog, my friend. That is clear as day. Indianapolis Colts plus 6.5.
Yeah, and that's why I like the Denver part. I get why people have hated, right? Their defense probably isn't as good as we give them credit for either.
Yeah,
right? If you look
I
at
agree.
their, they've had a pretty soft schedule, but the props I did give to Bo Nix is same thing with Caleb Williams. Like these comeback wins, what more are you looking for in your second year quarterback? Like they keep winning these one score games, Denver, which is really impressive to me. And I'm with you. Am I going to be hammering them for Super Bowl odds? No, they have to get caught eventually, Denver. And this Jaguars team, a little bit what you're talking about here, that's very true, is that this is peak, right? This is probably them being super valued by the general public. I don't know if it's so much by the models. That's what I'm having a hard time with here. So Chad's on the sharp side. This number to me, just like last week, the Colts, I believe they opened 6 or 6.5 against the 49ers. It closed 4.5 by kickoff. So this number here, like Chad's saying, there's a 6.5 at Hard Rock here in Jersey. It literally just went to 6. I'm seeing a couple of books already moved to 5.5 as we speak right now. So the pros, they're with Chad. They're coming in heavy on this cold side. I gave you guys historical numbers. I can't go against it. It's just every time I think the Jags will eventually slip up here. Doesn't matter if it was Minshew. Doesn't matter if it was Blake Bortles. It's just they've had tons of trash at the quarterback position, and the Jags always, for some reason, find a way to cover and beat this Colts team. Now, when they have a well-oiled machine on offense, the Jaguars, the Trevor Lawrence, playing at the highest level I've ever seen, I'm not going to lie to you, Chad. I can't do it. I can't go against them. So people betting this one, if you are with Chad and you're taking Indianapolis, like I said, it is the sharp side. You got to grab the number now because I do think the pros are going to bet this down. For me, that I like the Jags. Now that I'm seeing the lineman, I'll just be patient. I'll take the 5.5, or if anything, I'll just throw them in a teaser and just take the money line of this Jaguars team. But like I said, if we come Sunday morning and Chad's really like Chad saying, I need this Colts winning the contest, I'm not going to fight you on it because I do believe you're right. That is the sharp side. And the Jags are due for a letdown. It's just I can't get over how good this Jags offense is. Even we went back and watched that Denver game. Liam's in his bag, man. Like him scheming up how open these guys were, rub routes, using the tight end to come out in the flat route to bring the cornerback down so there'd be a higher route, in the middle of the field. And just there's multiple times watching, there's just guys wide open against them in the middle of the field. So like I said, it's like the Rams with me and the Rams now. I think the Jags have won me so much money here these last couple of weeks. I just think they're just so undervalued by the general public. So could be a week that Chad's much sharper than me with his COVID cold because he's not in only this game, but the Tennessee game. You were ahead of it on both of these games being the sharp side.
Well, let's talk about Tennessee. Maybe I should just have COVID every week and then I'll just have clarity. Fog for everything else, but clarity when it comes to the lines.
So that's the best way to live.
Yeah. New Orleans. Well, part of it is like for the past 36 hours, I've been quarantined from my family, and which is actually annoying because, my kids are home for a limited time and they're old enough now that it's actually just really fun to go out with them. Like they have real things to say and real conversations, and it's just a blast to be hanging with them. And now I'm just sitting here in my freaking office because I can't do anything.
It's a Christmas miracle, people. A man in his 50s realized his kids have personalities. Incredible.
Don't make me wheeze. New Orleans at Tennessee. This line is now down to 2.5 at Hard Rock. It opened at 3.5. We've been betting it, or at least I have. I also bet Tennessee on the money line. So look, you've said it. The wise guys are on it. I don't love that there is a majority of the tickets coming in on the Titans. It makes me feel like we might be backing a little bit of a public dog, but I did start to feel better after you said the wise guys have been pounding this as well.
Yeah, and that's fair. It could be a little bit of a public dog. It's what we talked about, right? This is a Tennessee team that we've all left for dead, and I think I gave it out. They won like 3 out of their last 5. Like they had been winning games here. It's been pretty impressive. So not that shocking. I have not seen that ticket stuff, but you're right. Like I'll probably get more info on that as the week goes along here. But yeah, I like I said, you were spot on it when it was 3. The 2.5 is still a great number as well. I'm like I said, I'm banned from betting it, but if I was going to bet it, I would be joining Shedeur. I think the early read on Tennessee is right, and it's another game I wouldn't be shocked if we did put in the contest because it's probably a game that should be a pick. But like me, I'm with the public. I still think the books are underrating Shuck and how great he's been for this Saints offense. So I really can't wait to see how this game ends up because either my model is way off and I'm overrating Shuck and I am so in love with this guy because I have all this money on him to be Rookie of the Year, or I'm spot on that he is legit, which I cannot believe because going back and watching his college tape, I just can't believe that he actually is a good quarterback. So, yeah, this Saints game is really fun because it's not that it dictates the future, but I feel like it's another game that decides, is Shuck the best rookie this year? He's going to win Rookie of the Year because this is a true test, right? He's had a great test with the Panthers, the Bucs. Those were great wins. But this one is really interesting because they just had a blowout win at home. Now they're going on the road. We'll see how this young rookie deals with success that way.
This is not going to be a corner TV game. This is going to be in the 4 box.
Yeah, I'll be locked in on this one.
I will so be watching this game for so many reasons. It's actually going to be a blast. And by the way, kudos to Mike McCoy. Mike McCoy, who was kind of a nondescript, forgettable coach with the Chargers, has come in. Whatever he did has highlighted how bad Brian Callahan was, right? Because with whether it was culture, whether it was discipline, whether it was play calling,
running the ball, how he's managing this team generally has just changed it dramatically and turned them into much more of a safer bet. I think you can lift your self-imposed ban. I don't want to out of respect to the fans. I cost them and myself way too much money with my stupid opinions on Tennessee. So.
Yeah, but the flip side is you could be costing them money now by banning it. Like I'm on it. I am now making money on the Titans.
It's crazy. What a world you live in.
It's the COVID, man. The COVID brings clarity. Pittsburgh at Cleveland. Simon, Cleveland Browns are a 3-point underdog at home. Like we said, the line has moved from 4.5 to 4 to 3.5 to 3. The Cleveland Browns are going to be our Brass Balls Bet of the Week, presented by Hard Rock Bet.
You know what it takes? It takes brass balls.
Who knows what's going to happen in this game? If the Ravens lose on Saturday night, will Mike Tomlin all of a sudden start resting starters? We know DK Metcalf is not going to be playing. I think we're leaning into the division rivalry. We're leaning into Myles Garrett going for the sack record. We're leaning into fading Mike Tomlin as a favorite on the road. It's an anti-rah-rah spot. All of those things, as you pointed out, this is where I want to say a bet on a team with nothing to play for versus a bet on a team with something to play for in the last 2 weeks of the season, 61% against the spread. You said it more eloquently, but now that I remember it and it's in my notes, I wanted to share it.
Yeah, and it like Chad just said, it's a very unique spot here where we could be getting a great number because Pittsburgh could simply be sitting all their guys, right? This is a really fun game that, the Ravens, I think they're up to minus or plus 4.5 now.
Yeah.
The books are kind of telling you they don't think they're going to win there. So the only thing keeping this number up is it's tons of public money coming in on the Steelers team because they're just seeing the -3, right? With a Pittsburgh team that's been beating pretty good competition these last couple weeks, playing a Browns team that we all know they're just not very good, especially offensively. And they lost Junkins to an injury, the running back. Like it's a nightmare for the Browns. But we've been talking all season. This Browns team, we were a little disappointed in them because their defense felt like it wasn't showing up these last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Even that Bills game, you can't really say they dominated or showed up in that game totally. It was just Buffalo really did take the gas pedal off that second half. But, it was another game that was close, right? And you just go through other games. The Tennessee game, they lost at home. I think they lost by 2. And that Bills game, even though they should have probably lost by 10 or 11, they only lost by 3. So we've just seen this Browns team, even as bad as they've been down the stretch, they still have been playing really tough and close games at home. And Chad just nailed it. It's like this is going to be the Myles Garrett party, and I love the irony of it. If it is going to be Mason Rudolph being the quarterback that he gets the sack record against, all of that just coming together, and it's really interesting. We talk all the time about how I gave out that stat: 5 of the last 6 times Cleveland's beat Pittsburgh outright at home, and that's with Deshaun Watson's backups and just disaster of the season these Browns have had these last couple of years. They've just continually beaten Pittsburgh in the spot at home. So never was going to avoid it. We talked about it in the contest. If you could get the 3.5, it was a great number to lock in because that number just felt like it was going to keep falling. And now that we know that whole Pittsburgh drama with the Ravens, if the Ravens lose, Pittsburgh, they've locked up the title of the North. They don't need to play anybody. I just don't see Tomlin risking all these veteran guys they have playing in this game. So just was a game you don't see Rodgers, and as much as we like to hate on Rodgers, he's been really impressive.
He's been unreal.
Yeah. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see how different this team is in a game that just means nothing to them against a Browns team that I think this is going to mean something to them. I think they're going to be playing hard, especially Shedeur Sanders, who's still playing for a job here. So I think me and you are in sync here, Chad. Even if this is 2.5 in our contest, I'd still take it as long as you're getting a good plus number on the Browns.
Agree. Simon, you and I, mind meld. I hope I don't give you COVID.
I hate this to be one of my bigger bets this week. It's like I might really load up on Shedeur and the Browns, but it's a great number.
We totally are. Matt Mitchell, I'm throwing you a curveball here because I want to add in Tampa Bay at Miami. The number is 5.5, 6. Simon, you didn't mention it in sharp calls at all, but this just is continuing to feel like a big number for me for the Bucs, because they have not been able to execute effectively at any point or cover a big number like this. And Devon Achane could run all over this team. As we've seen, they have not been great at stopping the run. So why aren't we having a bigger conversation about Miami?
I'm with you. You're right. You're spot on. Miami is definitely this side in the spot here. But like I've been talking about, this Bucs team, this isn't going to continue. They're going to have a game where they do get right. This offense, the weapons they have are just too good. Like what you're saying is true to me for them defensively, right? Miami should be able to run the ball, but you saw that last week. Quinn Ewers, he can't complete the ball 10 yards downfield, Chad. Like he was throwing into double, triple teams. So I think your idea is sound and right. Like if this is Tua, this would be one of my bigger bets of the week. I can't be betting this quarterback that can't make completions against a team that is insanely desperate at this point. I mean, talk about a dream scenario to get right. If you were the Bucs, you are now facing one of the worst secondaries in all of football. Like Mike Evans, Godwin, Emeka Egbuka, Baker. We've talked about Baker's had an injury. This is a no excuse type of game. He should be able to move the ball and pass it all over the field against them. With Carolina, we saw in the first half he wasn't rhythm. The second half, he reverted back to that. We keep talking about this Baker that's just the 39th out of 39 quarterbacks in the league in EPA per play. He was horrible. So I think your read is sound. I'm with the public here. I'm back in Tampa, and I'm taking the 5.5. And I've seen actually some pro money. That's why I didn't really talk much about it coming on the Bucs. This did go from 5 to 5.5, and now I'm seeing a couple books move to 6. So
yeah,
it's an interesting game where I think your read is right in the sense that if you want to play that playoff stat we gave out, the Dolphins are technically a 60% play right here, right? This is the spot you're supposed to take them, but I am totally worried about them just offensively with Quinn Ewers. It feels like they got the call right. Don't put in Zach Wilson. Put in the other kid. Let's start losing some games here. There's no point of us being 8-9. Let's go 6-9 or wherever they're trying to get to now. So it just feels like Miami's totally given up on the season.
I was going to talk about the Giants and the Raiders, the battle for the number 1 overall pick, because the Raiders have now become 1-point underdogs. They were 1.5-point favorites when we spoke on Tuesday, but the news is that Brock Bowers is on IR, right. So he's not going to be playing.
That's why it moved, I think.
That's why it moved. But also, the Giants aren't going to have Andrew Thomas, and they've got other O-line injuries. And the Giants, as we've seen the past couple of years, are just a much different team when Andrew Thomas isn't playing. And so are we balancing out sort of the disadvantages when Andrew Thomas isn't playing and Brock Bowers isn't playing? And then do we just go with the team we know is going to have the psycho coach who could give a shit about draft position?
Yeah, like to me, this is number 5 or number 6 for our contest come Sunday. Like I love this game, even though I know I shouldn't, because there are, like I just said, there's so many unknowns here. And you did see the line flip when the Brock Bowers news came out, just because he is so important. I mean, he coming into the season, he was my number 1 graded tight end. I think I have him at number 2 now behind Trey McBride, but still, for their value to the spread, they're probably only a handful of tight ends that even command half a point, let alone a point. And seeing this flip 3 points feels like a bit extreme for the Brock Bowers news. So I know Raiders are super public side. I've talked to most bookmakers. They're basically taking a ton of Raiders money. I still think it's the right side. And then that stat I gave out on Tuesday just keeps ringing in my head, right? You have 2 teams, below 3% win percentage playing this late in the year. It's only happened 4 times in NFL history, I think, since 1990. The home team 4-0 straight up in that exact spot. So, the numbers bear it out. I know it's a small sample, but it kind of shows that when there's 2 bad teams, there is a slight home advantage to it. And, Chad just gave it out there. Now the Giants, who already have a bad offensive line, now they're down again their best offensive tackle playing against a D-line. As much crap we want to give to the Raiders, that's probably their only strong thing they have defensively. And that's what we talk about. Max Crosby gets a pick left or right. He picks whatever side he wants to. So really unique spot here for this Vegas team that I think offensively, not that they found something against Houston, but I feel like they did, right? They kind of figured out. It's just a type of team that, we know they have the weapons. They just never could put it together consistently because their offensive line is so bad. And I know a couple people asked me about that. Do you expect the Giants to be able to take advantage of that? You've seen it with the Giants. Their biggest weakness, especially against the run, is because they just don't have linebackers. So Genty is the exact type of running back you need that can neutralize a good defensive line. So, like I said, this is a game where I don't know how you feel about it right now. As soon as this game came up, I have vision. Because, again, we only could pick out of 11 games for our contest. I could easily see this being one of the 5th or 6th game we talk about, just because it's a game I like and it's just gross enough for us to make into the contest.
So I don't feel that strongly about it. And the rest of the games we're talking about, I think we're all on the fence about. So I'm happy to have it in consideration. Philadelphia at Buffalo. Buffalo is a 1-point favorite right now. It's come down from 2.5. I think the news is really about Josh Allen. He's been limited in practice because of his foot. And I think also the Eagles have said they're going to play their starters. So talk about, in theory, the Eagles kind of have nothing to play for, whereas the Bills actually have something very important to play for. So it's a little bit of a turning that stat on its head. You would want to be on the Eagles here. Unfortunately, I've bet into the Bills at 2.5. I bet them at 1. I bet them on the money line. So I'm overexposed on the Bills here. I don't feel strongly that we need to. Sorry,
petered out there at the end. I'm right there with you. It's I wanted to be on the Bills. I like this spot a lot for the Bills because what we just talked about. It's a team to me that they're going to be putting the foot on the gas, like really want to beat the shit out of this Eagles team. Has they head into the playoffs for the Eagles? Those are a total letdown spot. Like they've been partying, a couple nights after they won their division, and they have a bunch of guys coming back from injuries that I don't know if they're going to play them in this game. Talking about Lane Johnson and Carter. So it's a weird one, Chad, where I was right there with you. I honestly haven't bet anything on the Bills yet. I do think I'm going to take a position on them. I've just been waiting like you to learn more about Josh Allen. Is it the foot? Is it a bad ankle? What is the injury? Is he going to practice? Josh Allen, the biggest thing I always talk about is availability. The greatest strength of Josh Allen is he simply does not miss time. He is one of the toughest guys in this entire league. And it's why we all love him, right? Not just the numbers he puts up, but it's just a guy that he takes insane hits. He gets the shit kicked out of him. Never misses games. He never misses games. He truly is Superman. And I've talked about it. His future, it's going to be interesting how his life goes. What's Josh Allen going to be like at 35, 34 after playing the style he's played? He's 29. So to me, if he's good to go, Chad, if he gets cleared, if he gets the shot, I don't mind betting the Bills here. But if there is no practice all week for him and he's coming in kind of limp here, it's not great. Like this is a legit good Eagles defensive line that's going to give him problems, especially if he's playing on one foot. So this is a game where I thought for sure we'd have it as one of our 5. I don't have enough info, Chad. It might be a game I
Yeah.
just have to avoid, and I don't know if it can be there. But I do, like I said, I do want to bet on the Bills. Do not like this at all for this Eagles team, and it's going to be interesting following this injury report all day today because it's Christmas. There's a holiday, so obviously Josh in practice yesterday. I believe we heard he was limited, maybe on Wednesday.
Yeah,
he does a full walkthrough, unlike Lamar. Like Lamar hasn't done anything. Highly unlike Lamar plays. If we get at least a walkthrough with Josh Allen, I'll feel much more comfortable betting this Bills team, knowing it's going to be him and not Mitch Trubisky.
It's so funny when you said his greatest strength and we don't know what his life is going to be like. I was thinking, well, he's having a baby. He just got married. He's got so much going for him. And you're like 34, 35. Can he still be taking these hits? But that's because I've learned to love my kids.
He gives me major Elway vibes. Like, you remember Elway's knees at the end of his career, they were just falling off the bone.
The dude could barely walk.
Yeah, it just makes me feel the same. It was just like Elway was a crazy freak athlete, just like Josh Allen. Or Ben Roethlisberger, another great comp. Ben was just like him. Impossible to take down in the pocket, this giant statue. The guy couldn't move from his left to his right at the end of his career because his knees were just so shot. So that was my only worry. With Josh Allen, there's nothing else to worry about with him, right? He is Superman, but it's just how is his body going to help up? This guy, every time they get close in their red zone, it just feels like his body's the battering ram. He's just one of a kind, Josh Allen. So it's crazy he's held up this long. Like I said, this injury, it's the only one I can really think of this season that spooked me about him, right? He's pretty much been clean all season. We just don't know. Is it a broken bone in the foot? Is it an ankle? We honestly, everything I've read, like I'm looking right now on social media, no one knows. It's people just literally, they just throw shit against one hoping something sticks. No one knows what the real injury is. I honestly think if he is limited and then does the walkthrough, it's just whatever, a bone bruise. I don't think it's anything serious because Josh is the type of guy that he knows, like he can't miss any games for this team.
Social media is a font of truth, as we all know. Chicago Bears +3 at San Francisco. It got up to 3.5.
It did.
And like immediately got bought back down. I don't know, man. Like I'm so emotionally invested here. Like it's going to be Sunday night. Hopefully by then I'll be coming out of my COVID stupor and I'll be watching it with my kids and like enjoying it as a family that acts as if we're from Chicago, even though we live in the middle of Connecticut. But every week feels like a letdown spot for the Bears. And every week now feels like the Niners are overrated, especially coming off 5 touchdowns and everyone acting like Brock Purdy is the MVP who could have been. So what do we do here? It's like high point, buy high. Everyone's NVIDIA in this game.
Yeah, it's unfortunate I can't put Chad's Bears down anymore saying who have they beaten? Because they have, I mean,
they beat everybody.
Right, and they beat playoff teams, right? They beat Pittsburgh, probably going to be a playoff team. Beat the Eagles, a playoff team. They beat Green Bay, who, because of the Lions, they are now a playoff team, right? So, as much as you want to get the Bears because all their games come down to the final 2 minutes, they've put it together this season, right? As horrible as their defense has been, what are they leading the league, Chad, in turnover rate? Because your quarterback doesn't turn the ball over and your defense gets picks. So they've found their identity like they really did under Ben Johnson, right? No stupid turnovers offensively and defensively. They bend, they give up yards, no doubt about it, but they don't break. They get the turnovers. They hold up in the red zone. So I think this Bears team being undervalued. And just look at the splits too. Like there's a bunch of different books I'm looking at right now. The tickets are pretty even. All the money is on the 49ers. Like the pros clearly and the public have taken a liking to this Niners team. So I think the 3 is right. I've talked about it ad nauseum. This Niners team, yes, they've been winning games, but I've been super suspect of this defense just being held together by bubblegum. Like eventually it's going to come back on you. You can't be the worst team in the league on getting pressure on the quarterback and not have it come bite you in the ass once you play good teams. Like the 49ers, they've been getting away with it because they've been insane offensively. I mean, Mac Jones, I believe, is still the number two quarterback in passer rating against playoff teams this season. I think Brock is now number 5. So it's like, doesn't matter which quarterback has been in, their offense has been humming this season, this Niners team. So I get why the public's coming in on them. They look at this match and they think that they're just going to roll this Bears team. But I'm telling you, I think the Bears offensively can keep this close. And we've seen it. Purdy does throw those 50-50 balls every now and then. And that's going to be against a Bears team that loves quarterbacks that do that, right? They're always looking to take advantage of that. And, they give these unique looks where they either drop back the defensive lineman or whatever it is. They've kind of had these looks where these quarterbacks don't see these type of schemes this Bears team's doing, which is high risk variance, right? They're leaving guys wide open to double team certain guys where, they either have the numbers, they show that like they really did great against Jalen Hurts, right? They're really doubling AJ and they're letting our number 3 receiver run solo or free because they just knew Hurts, he was going to look at his first read, especially when he's getting blitzed. So just once again, really impressed by what this Bears team does. I'm with Chad. Maybe I'm like Chad, I'm too close to it, but if our contest is 3.5, there's no way we avoid this one. There's no way. With the hook, I love it. And again, I have this game modeled at 2. So if I'm getting 1.5 on a team I really like in this Bears team against a 49ers team that I am very suspicious of, I'm going to take that number every time. So yeah, I love this game, and it's huge playoff ramifications. This game, shockingly, I can't believe I'm about to say this. This game could easily decide the 1 seed in the NFC. So I can't wait to see it. This Bears team, man, this is a once in a lifetime type of season. If you're a Bears fan, it truly is.
Well, look, we're going to have to make a call because we also talked about the Rams, and that number is going to be 8.5 in the contest. We don't want a Sunday night game and a Monday night game in the contest. So you know what I mean?
We'll see. That game we can be patient on because, like, again, one of the more public books now is down to 7.5. So, like I said, the pros, they are coming on Atlanta. I'm more than happy to let that scare us off and we avoid the Rams because I'm 3-0 betting the Rams this December. I probably should get off the train. I just can't help it. It's like McVay is a covering machine in this month, and I've talked about it. So I have no issue us backing off that Rams side just because like I said last week in Seattle, I'm too close to it. But at some point, we're going to be getting the best of the number. Like this is now 7.5. I mean, if I have that number at 10, how can I avoid that Rams number? So it's just between how much love Atlanta is getting. It's just, like Chad talked about, Drake London's back, with Kirk. Should be a game they should be able to keep close against a Rams team that we've seen it now, right? Their defense looks like it might be their Achilles heel. They can be run on. They have certain holes in their secondary, this Rams team. So that's a game where I'm not going to force us to make it one of our 5. Chicago, I would force us to make that one of our 5. I really have a lot bet on that Chicago number.
Oh, I'd love for Chicago to be in the contest for us. I feel like we're making a decision right now. You know what we're going to do? We're going to take a quick break to hear from our sponsor at Hard Rock Bet. See if I can recover in these few minutes. Want to know where I bet on sports during the holiday season? That's right. It's Hard Rock Bet. Not just because it's the presenting sponsor of our show, but because they make it easy to bet both pregame and live in just a few simple taps. I open the app, find a bet I like, and then bam, my bet is placed. Just in time for me to get back to wrapping presents and enjoying my favorite Christmas movie. Sign up today and bet $5 on any game. If it wins, you also score $150 in bonus bets. A winning bet plus an extra $150 to bet with. Now that's spreading holiday cheer. Plus, Hard Rock Bet fills your stockings with new promos daily. So whenever you're listening, just open the app and check out what you've got any day of the week. Download the Hard Rock Bet app and make your first deposit today. All right, Simon, biggest bets.
Quick, I'll give out some stats. A lot of people have asked about what are the odds of this playoff pool that we have this year. So I basically ran my model. What were the odds before the season of Joe Burrow, Lamar, and Patrick Mahomes all missing the playoffs? 0.007, Chad.
Jesus. That's
the odds of us having this outcome of this season on just the AFC side. So, I mean, this is like what I dream of with football. I'm going to lose. Obviously, I'm going to lose a decent amount of money. The only team I have left in the AFC that I will win money on is if the Bills make the Super Bowl and play the Rams or the Eagles. That's the last hope I have, just because, like I've talked about, I just didn't think Drake May or Bo Nix would be the type of guys I'd have any type of Super Bowl futures on. And obviously, I have some regrets with that one. Favorite stat I saw: teams that missed the playoffs after winning 15 games in the prior season. 2008, New England Patriots. Everyone remembers, obviously, the torn ACL with Tom Brady. 2016, Carolina Panthers, which makes sense, right? That was kind of a fool's gold, 15-1 Cam Newton team that just fell off, the next season. The 2025 Chiefs and the 2025 Detroit Lions.
Wow.
Pretty insane, right? 2 of them in the same season. Another one I really loved, which was the 1 seeds. So one seeds to be the one seed the year before and then not make the playoffs since 2000. We had in 2001 Tennessee and the Giants, 2008 New England and the Dallas, 2009 Tennessee and the Giants. Tennessee, that's kind of crazy. 3 times after them. 2022 Tennessee and Green Bay. Then obviously 2025 the Chiefs and Detroit. So it's just really unique, right? We always talk about the window closes pretty quick. Do we think the Chiefs window's closed? No. Detroit, I know the public has left them for dead. If you're a Detroit fan, get ready for it. I am going to be betting all of your futures next year. You literally went from the first place schedule to, I think next year you get Arizona, Tennessee, and the Giants. That's going to be insane when you guys get fully healthy next year. So Detroit fans, I know it's horrible right now. Your lives are just, I get it. Like, that was embarrassing. Probably one of the worst games I've ever seen a quarterback play in Jared Goff, other than Jalen Hurts, obviously, with the 5 turnovers. But yeah, it's just a unique time right now in football. So yeah, for me, my biggest bets, Chad, I'm not gonna lie, people, haven't bet too heavily into these games, right? I bet into the Christmas games because they were so early in the week. Houston, I'm probably gonna take on my larger positions on just because it's tomorrow and like I want to be there with it. Seattle, I've been patient. I've been hoping to get to 6.5. If I start seeing it tinker back up to 7.5, I will go very heavy on Seattle at 7. I'm just hoping to get to 6.5. I really hope that number gets bet down to professionals. Cleveland, no surprise to people. The 3.5, the 3s, I've bet pretty heavy into it. And I just have a feeling come Sunday, this Bears side of the +3, it's going to be one of my bigger bets. So, yeah, I really like the dogs this week. And I didn't say it because I'm making myself now I can make it one of my bigger bets, but I'm very tempted here on Vegas with them being +1.5. It's just, I can't believe that line's not a pick, let alone them -101. So Vegas could get there for right now, though. Just the two sides I've really lit up on is Cleveland and most likely Houston.
All right. Our underdog parlay, I feel like we're giving ourselves an opportunity here. Houston, the Bears.
Yeah, you got to go Bears.
Tennessee.
Cleveland. And then simple, round it off. Let's just go the Vegas.
Oh, yeah, Vegas. And then the favorites.
A little tougher, shockingly, but
Seattle.
Right. I mean, people probably won't hear this in time, but I would put Green Bay in there. I think they won't hear it in time, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Tampa, Chad. How do we not put Tampa's money line?
Tampa, Rams.
Yeah, the Rams. I mean, I do 2.5 on the Rams for that one. And even though we don't know yet, but I just want to do it because it's good value. It feels like we have to do the Bills.
Yeah. All right. Underdog parlay. We're doing, who did we say? We did Houston, the Bears,
Tennessee,
Cleveland, and the Raiders. Favorites parlay. We're doing Seattle, Green Bay, Tampa Bay, the Rams, and the Bills. Sharp versus square, my friend. Last week, I think we both won, actually. I had Tennessee.
No, I think it's just you. I had Bills 10.5, 10, -10.
All right. Who do you got?
You don't want to go first?
All right, I'll go first. Give me Tennessee.
I'll go Cleveland. Give me Cleveland +3.
You're taking Cleveland even though there are brass balls. That's why I did, because they were all brass balls.
True. You know, I'll be the man here. I'll do what Chad should have done. Give me Chicago +3.
There you go. I like it. All right, sharp versus square. I'm taking Tennessee. Simon is taking the Chicago Bears. This has been Sharp or Square, part of the Volume Podcast Network. We will be back on Sharp or Square YouTube on Sunday morning as you eavesdrop on an intimate conversation between me and Simon. We will be back on Sharp or Square YouTube Sunday night to recap all of that misery from Sunday. Watch or listen on YouTube at Sharp or Square. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, download us from Spotify, Apple Pods, wherever you get your pods. Rate, review, subscribe, leave us 5 stars. Say whatever you want. Feedback is a gift. Until next time, love you.
Come on, baby. One time, baby. One time.